Now, reactions have continued to trail developments in the political space in Nigeria, where political figures have merged forces ahead of the 2027 elections. The recently announced opposition coalition has formally adopted the African Democratic Congress as its political platform for 2027. Reactions, like I mentioned, trailed the event. It held at the Sheikh Musa Erodua Center in Abuja. The ADC presidential candidate in the last election, Dumebi Kachiku, insists the coalition does not in any way represent their stand as a party. He said the coalition is in alliance with the party's former leadership, and the current leadership does not recognize it. Now, for more on this development, the former deputy chairman of the APC in Canada, Dr. Abiola Oshodi, joins me on the news. Good to have you join us, Dr. Oshodi. I am sure that, your own reaction has also trailed this particular development. Everyone seems to still be talking about it, because the belief is that this particular coalition can upturn the possibility of victory for APC in the coming election. What's your reaction?
Thanks for having me in this studio again. And I was happy when I heard about the coalition and the decision to adopt the ADC as their party's flagship for 2027 campaign. But on the flip side, a few months ago, the same set of people defected to the Social Democratic Party, to adopt SDP as their flagship party for the 2027 election, only to discover that things might not be that easy. And now we heard that they are defecting to the ADC. And that might not be the end of that story, because I heard from grapevine that they are also planning to form a new political alliance. But in all this, it's not healthy, for our democratic system. If it's all about power grabbing, a coalition of strange bedfellows on a coalition course, that are disturbing our democratic process, it's not the best way forward. One would have expected a very viable opposition to the ruling party, opposition that is driven by principles and the party's ideology, with consistency, and substantial investments in the democratic process to offer, different ideas on governance, on policies, that are deep-rooted, in service to Nigeria. But the way I see the coalition as it's presently unfolding, is that they are just desperate for power. And God forbid,
you said that now, Dr. Oshodi, but one can also say that this was the story of the APC in 2013. You realize, you very well know, you're a member of that party, that it was a merger, as it were, of about 5 different parties, one of them which was a faction of another party. And so one can also say that APC, these were the kind of comments that trailed APC in 2013, and today here we are.
APC's historical trajectory is quite different from what's unfolding. Prior to 2015, I think there was an alliance or proposed alliance, to face the PDP, the ruling PDP at the time, which didn't materialize in 2011. But as soon as they lost that election, they went back to the drawing board and started discussions, very serious discussion, high-level discussions, towards forming a formidable opposition party, which eventually materialized in 2013 as APC. And they went on to win the presidential election and, other elections, or majority of the elections in 2015. So there was a lot of planning, there was a lot of policies, there was a lot of ideas about what they wanted to do with power. It's quite different from, what we are having now, political strange bedfellows, just coalescing to cause political commotion in the country is not the best way forward. In my opinion, though, I might be wrong. And, the danger is that if such caricature of politicians that are masquerading now in our political space eventually gets power, what are they going to do with it?
So I'm always very mindful of how...
It's very dangerous.
Dr. Abiola, I'm always very mindful of how we describe people, especially when you use the word caricature. But I wanted to also ask you, these men are not lightweight politicians. These men are heavyweight politicians. I always continue to highlight the fact that between Peter Obi and Atiku in 2023, they had about 14 million votes. So you can't say that, you can't use the word caricature. These are very heavyweight politicians. So shouldn't the APC be worried that perhaps you might even lose members to this coalition?
That's assuming if I use that word, apologies, if you find it offensive, but I don't see it working, because this, is it Peter Obi that will emerge as the presidential aspirant of that party, or is it Atiku? Or is it the former Rivers State governor, Rotimi Amechi? Or is it, Malam El-Rufai? These are very, very... Hello?
Go ahead, please. Finish your thoughts.
Oh, okay. So these are very, very powerful people. But in terms of, it's... Winning Nigeria's election is beyond, being a very heavy politician. So it requires being able to mobilize substantial resources and people to ensure victory. And the party working in unity.
All right.
So I don't see that unity in that coalition. Well, that's, why I use that
some
word.
would say it's still very early in the day, Dr. Abiola.
The APC, as far as I'm concerned, has nothing to...
All right. Some would say it's still very early in the day. There are a lot of things to watch. I was just saying thank you so much for your time. We're out of time, but some will say it's still very early in the day. We'll continue to watch out for this development. We've been speaking with the former deputy chairman of the APC in Canada, Dr. Abiola Oshodi. Thank you for your time.